Your Uncle Don't Know Nothing podcast. Your host, Sauce, the analyst, Doc Prime, Big Play Joe, MJ the Playmaker, and Coach Peyton.
Listen, I'm a big ESPN radio listener, and I love to listen to Chris Cannon, right? One of my favorites. Now, Chris Cannon loved Shedeur Sanders. He wants the Giants to get Shedeur. He would love to see Shedeur in New York in a blue Giants uniform. But the problem is, Canny thinks that the New York Giants is a graveyard for young quarterbacks.
Man, you can say to me, my son ain't going to New York to play no motherfucking football, man.
So listen, fellas, this is what I want to know. Let's come up with our top five. What's the top 5 graveyard teams for these young quarterbacks coming out in this 2025 draft? I'll throw something out there. And y'all, hey, yay or nay. I think the Saints.
Well, you think about this with the Saints, they do have a wide receivers. They have 2 of them. They do have a exceptional pro running back with the running back. I forgot his name, but hey, so Alvin Kamara, yeah, Alvin Kamara. Then you got the 2 wide receivers. They got an offensive line. They can run the ball. It's the defense that they lacking on. So as far as a graveyard, they put a defensive coordinator in Dennis Allen to run that team. He's a defensive-minded coach. He failed with the other teams like the Chargers.
Can he develop a young quarterback, a rookie?
No. That's why they hired your boy Kellen Moore to take over that.
So give me. We start at number 5. Give me number 5. Saints off the table.
Number 5.
Saints off the table.
Saints off. I think Saints off the table because we got way more jacked up teams than that. Number 5, I say Jacksonville is number 5. For the coaching.
Is the Saints off the table?
I don't know if the Saints are off the table per se, but I think one of the things you got to look at when you look at a graveyard team is I think you got to look at body count. Now, I don't know where you would put this, but the Cleveland Browns has a body count that is really high.
There must be a line in the sand somewhere. What about well into triple digits? Like, it's certainly not fair.
Matter of fact,
do they got -1? Can we do -1?
Hold on. What do we mean by body count here?
They had 17 players in the last 10 years.
What I mean by body count. The Cleveland Browns have had over 30 starting QBs since 1999.
Damn! That's a lot.
Wow.
No,
that's crazy.
That is a hard number, gentlemen.
Oh, that was crazy.
And nobody wants to go to a franchise where they're just chewing up quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks, and spitting them out.
And I want to tear you apart. And your friend too.
So I don't know where you would put the Cleveland Browns, but if that's not a graveyard, when you see the bodies scattered across the ground like that for quarterbacks, I don't know what is. So the Cleveland Browns need to be on that list.
We can
rank them at -1. No, -1 because it's that bad.
Now we were starting at 5, but we at 1. Cleveland is number 1 graveyard team. Who we got number 2?
I mean, so who Mark gonna say? Yep, I knew it.
I mean, the Jets.
The Jets.
When's the last time the Jets had a good quarterback?
Joe Namath.
What does it mean to you now when the team is struggling?
I want to kiss you. I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
Right?
Define what you mean by good. Like Aaron Rodgers was one of the top quarterbacks in terms of touchdown passes last season. I mean, objectively,
I mean, you got somebody throwing the ball all the time. Yeah, they're gonna throw touchdowns eventually, but then you have the interceptions to go with it. It doesn't mean you're good. It just means you throw a lot.
you would be hard pressed to make the statistical argument that Aaron Rodgers was a bad quarterback last year. Now, he wasn't great, but you can't make an argument he was bad. And in his career, he's been great. He was a functional quarterback. The team was just bad for a variety of other reasons.
So was Aaron Rodgers as good as he was with the Packers on the Jets?
No.
Okay. That's the point we're trying to make. You're not as good as you could be on a different team. Graveyard team.
They went out in 2021 and got Zach, and he thought he would have been the savior of the franchise, Zach Wilson, and then it was just bad coaching. They had a defensive coach trying to develop a young QB. You have to have an offensive-minded coach. Your offensive-minded coach, as a head coach, has to pair up with the QB. Period.
Well, I think one of the most telling things for the Jets is when you look at a quarterback like a Geno Smith, who seemed like he was going down. His career was going to be basically nothing. He goes to Seattle, and all of a sudden he's resurrected. I mean, what says graveyard more than that, in my opinion?
So can the Jets draft a rookie quarterback out this draft and develop him?
No, because look who's the head coach. Who is the head coach for the?
Is the green team in New York a graveyard?
Yes.
Yes.
Because they messed up by hiring Eric Glenn. They hired a defensive-minded coach again.
Well,
2 in a row.
But there's been defensive-minded coaches who developed good quarterbacks. I think with Graveyard, I think about it a couple things. One, do I trust the owner? Because it all starts with the owner in terms of everything they put around him. And then two, do they have a good coach? Can the coach actually develop a quarterback? So I think for the two teams we have down as guarantees with Cleveland and with the Jets, you have the same situation where you have an owner who people do not trust mixed with a coach that people don't trust. And I'll give you another example. A place that was a graveyard for quarterbacks was the Commanders, Washington. But what happened in Washington? They did two things. They changed their owner and they got a new coach. That changes everything about what that franchise is. So based on that criteria, I would throw out another team that should be on the graveyard list, Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't trust their coach, nor do I trust their owner. And so I have hesitation about thinking they can develop any rookie quarterback they draft.
I agree with that. I was going to go with Jacksonville first, but the Saints. Maybe the Saints not a graveyard yet.
Yeah, I would say maybe not yet.
They digging up the ground to install the tombstones, and they already fertilizing the grass.
Listen,
get that good green grass out there on that great. The guys out there with the chisels. They about to get it. They ready to get right.
And the manure truck just spraying all the fertilizer all over the place.
They're close. But tell me what y'all think about the Cardinals. What do y'all think about the Arizona Cardinals? Are they a graveyard?
I think that there's an honorable mention there, but I wouldn't say that I was sold on them being a graveyard.
No.
I give you a better stat since we're talking about that. How about the Houston? How about the Houston Texans? And here's the stat I want to pull out to you. David Carr was sacked 76 times in a season.
I remember.
I mean, we talking David Carr.
That's wild.
That's not a David Carr. That's trauma, y'all. That's trauma.
Would that be more the offensive line or the quarterback?
Well, no, but that's what we're saying. The like Mark said, the owner, the coach. When we're going to draft an O-line that's going to protect the quarterback? When we're going to have a plan? When we're going to actually do something that address that statistic? 76 times, that's egregious.
So I got to push back. I
But
would
yeah,
say they did
Yeah, I
draft
got
a quarterback
too.
in Deshaun Watson, and he was actually really good before he got in
Really
trouble.
good. Until he went to the Browns, the actual
True.
graveyard team.
But I think
Yes.
so. I think Arizona's there because Arizona's has some of the worst. Hey, now I throw something out there, and I think this one I really stand behind. The Dolphins. The Dolphins have had some of the worst development of quarterbacks. They've drafted some of the worst quarterbacks who've ever played statistically. But I think Miami is a place that has not proven that they can draft a quarterback after Dan Marino, that they can draft a young quarterback and actually develop that quarterback into a franchise quarterback who can win games.
I
right,
stay in the
fellas.
Midwest. I stay in the Midwest. I would say the Chicago Bears organization. Look, they have not had a great quarterback or a functional quarterback since
Jay Cutler.
since Jim McMahon. Jay Cutler was
Cutler.
an interception machine.
Man, I like Jay Cutler.
He kept both teams in the game.
But he had some very good seasons with Brandon Marshall. They were playoff contenders those years. I mean, and then Rex Grossman. They went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman.
Yeah,
So
They
we're
right behind the Cleveland Browns. They right behind the Cleveland Browns as far as quarterbacks.
But wait a minute, fellas. We talking about now, right? So we just gonna act like the New York Football Giants don't exist?